Before the quarrels, before the divorces, before the packing up and moving away, before all the other complications arose, they were, in some sense, one family. Or at least that is the claim. Although today they don't exactly share a common memory or a single story of the long-ago origins. But these several families, or perhaps branches, on the family tree, all claim to go back to the earliest beginnings. They differ on whether they are a branch, or whether they are the trunk and the roots, together with the whole tree. But they have defensible historical claims to what they call apostolicity, by which they mean that not only the teaching, but their form and structure of church descends without interruption from Jesus and the first human propagators of the Christian movement, the apostles. If they claim to go back to a common origin, what explains the differences? Many things. The earliest Christian movement pushed out from Roman Palestine in several directions, encountering differences of local language and culture. The differences of linguistic and culture groups accounts for some difference. The influence of Greek in the Eastern Mediterranean, as well as Northern Egypt. The movement of Latin through the Western Mediterranean and northward into Europe. The Syriac language and culture that carried Christian ideas through and into what is today Syria, Turkey, Iraq, Iran, India, and further north and east. Armenian nationality, culture, and language in the South Caucasus region. The Coptic indigenous language of the Upper Nile in Egypt, and the Ge'ez language of Aksum, or ancient Ethiopia. If language and culture might distinguish, political divisions could also help to divide. The line between the Roman Empire and the Persian empires in the East, the breakup of a once unified Roman Empire into East and West, many developments in a world where connections were hard to maintain, explain the various family branches losing contact or growing apart. But growing differences over theological doctrine and the practices of faith caused the most serious rifts, with divisions that endure to the present. And yet, today, more conversations happen across the lines of difference, together with a recognition of some broad family names and identities. Who and what are these family branches? They include Christians from around the world, but they see their particular origins and historical strength in certain regions. One branch recognizes the label of Eastern Orthodoxy, with roots in the Greek-influenced Eastern Mediterranean. The cities of Alexandria, Antioch, Jerusalem, Constantinople, with later branches extending into Russia and spreading among the Slavic peoples. A second branch adopted the label of Oriental Orthodoxy. With many overlaps of territory with Eastern Orthodoxy, particularly in West Asia or the Middle East, the Oriental Orthodox have their historical strength from Ethiopia through Egypt, Syria and Iraq, and Armenia. Some of the first seeds of this tradition were planted in the ancient Christian theological school of Edessa, in the border region of the Roman and Persian empires. A third branch is often called the Church of the East. Overlapping with the other two branches, with origins connected to Edessa as well as Antioch, its most important growth occurred in Persia and its capital of Seleucia Ctesiphon. And from that center, the movement connected to a far-flung collection of communities, extending from West Asia into Central Asia, South Asia or India, and China. And a fourth branch is best known as the Catholic Church, the form of ancient Christianity that spread with the Roman Empire, especially as it developed in the Western Mediterranean, Europe, and North Africa, with a centering on the Western capital, the city of Rome. Eventually, this branch would spread globally, as well as give rise to various different offshoots, some of which would no longer qualify as Catholic or Apostolic, at least not in the same sense. Today, sometimes these families or family branches are able to speak together, an expression of a modern phenomenon called the ecumenical movement. Ecumenism is fostered by the Church's ability to look at the complexity of their past, to see past differences in the light of a long engagement of faith and cultures. Often they are able to talk across lines of difference, not because they first renounce their particular identities and convictions, but because they can see their identities and convictions rooted in the complications of past struggles. With a deeper sense of themselves and a deepening curiosity about others and their histories, the door to understanding can open a little wider.